Hey everyone, we're doing another species spotlight today, and this one I think a lot of people are actually really looking forward to when I did the unboxing of getting a pair of these a couple of weeks ago. But without further ado, we're going to be doing the European legless lizard. So across the world, there's actually well over 100 species of different legless lizards, but these guys, or the Sheltopusik, which I probably mispronounced, is the largest species. There's actually three different subspecies of them, and all of them can achieve well over 4 feet length. Never really too much larger than that, but 4 feet is still pretty big, and this guy right here is close to 3 already. Now, these guys are found throughout Europe and into Central Asia, from the European countries like Croatia and Greece across that Baltic Sea into as far east as Kyrgyzstan, so near India, that Central Asian area. They're all found in pretty similar habitat, which is short grasslands and kind of sparsely forested areas. Nothing too heavy. They like lots of sun exposure. Now, obviously, the further east you go towards closer to that Middle East area that we like to refer to as, it's a little bit drier. But overall, it's pretty similar habitat. Now, these guys are really cool. They have a number of different names. So it's the Sheltopusik, the European glass lizard, the European legless lizard, all sorts of fun things. Now, when you first look at these guys, obviously the first thing you think of, it's very confusing that it's actually a snake. But there are a number of things you can use to differentiate with them. The very first one, and the obvious one that I like to tell, is the external ears. If you look, there's that little hole at the back of its head. That's called the auditory neuritis, which is essentially a reptile, lizard, turtle, alligator, crocodilian version of an external ear. Snakes do have eardrums and they can hear. It's just not quite the same as these guys, or we can hear as well. As well as they have eyelids, and they have a different type of tongue. It actually looks very similar to, like, say, a skink's tongue, where it's much wider, flatter, thicker. He might do it. We'll see if he does it or not. And it has a very slight fork at the end of it. Other than the fact that it doesn't look like he has any legs, they share a lot of commonality with most other species of lizards. They have you're okay, buddy. They have very strong jaws. They love to eat a lot of different prey items. They like snails, eggs, ground nesting birds, lizards, small rodents, all sorts of little fun things. They kind of eat all sorts of stuff. They are diurnal like many lizard species, so if you're keeping them in captivity, you're obviously going to need that full spectrum UVA and UVB lighting. These guys, a really fun, interesting fact about these guys, don't munch me, little boy. If you look right here, this is where his cloaca is. All of this from this way over is all his tail. They have very long tails. It's usually a little bit long. It's longer than the rest of their body most of the time. And while these guys may look like they're very clumsy climbers, they do use that to kind of help them move around over fallen logs and rocks and places like that. They don't really like handling too much, and as you can see, he's kind of death rolling on me a little bit. Death rolling, similar to like what crocodiles and stuff do to, tear pieces of their prey off. He's just trying to get away from me. They do have very strong jaws, which is why I prefer him not to munch on me a little bit, because they do break up like snail shells and stuff. So, if you have a caming lizard, you can also feed one of these guys. Another little fun fact about them is that they're actually not truly legless. Actually, a lot of the species of the legless lizards are in fact not truly legless. They have what is close to what we would consider like vestigial limbs right there at the back of their cloaca, which maybe I'll get a picture of and I'll throw it up right here, but a lot of them have that. They're much smaller than, say, like a lot of like the boid, like the python and the boa spurs, but they do in fact have tiny what would be considered legs. You're okay, buddy. You're okay. As I said before, they don't really like handling, but they are still really cool. They're just an interesting species of lizard. If you're going to keep them, give them plenty of space. A 4x2 enclosure, I think, is a good start. Give them plenty of places to hide under and crawl around under. Large pieces of cork bark, like little cork tubes. I've even seen people take like just pieces of like a large piece of plastic that can be easily cleaned and washed off, and they'll use that. Give them a wide variety of mixed foods. So they have prepared lizard diets like blue tongue skink food they'll eat. They love eggs. They'll eat all sorts of different insects, dubia roaches, crickets, all sorts of the different worms. They're really fun and an interesting species of lizard. Unfortunately, most of these guys are wild caught because not too many people are able to produce them. In fact, there's only a handful of people around the world that have ever been able to produce them. And part of that reason is because for a very long time, we couldn't actually discern their sex very easily. It was very difficult to sex them for a very long time. Essentially, what you had to do is either pay for a DNA test or you would just put a group of them together and see when copulation happens. However, and I briefly mentioned this at the unboxing video, and several people I've heard tell me that there are several other actual dimorphic differences between them, but I was never quite sure until one of them did in fact send me a peer-reviewed data and study that they did, and they found that of the three subspecies, every single one of them did fall into this. And so this is our male. What they found is that if you look at his brow ridge and his nose, it's much more prominent, it's more flat, it's kind of more pronounced. With females, it's much more sloping and it comes down. I'll throw a little graphic of that right here to show the difference that has been confirmed, reviewed, researched, done all the things, and they found that this seems to be a very accurate way of telling up close to 100% of sexual dimorphism between male and female of the European legless lizards, which is so cool. I was really excited to hear that. Like, I kept hearing it from different people who had kept them or was really interested in that, but because all the research I had done, there was still no like concrete evidence to suggest that. I would just kind of say, yeah, probably, maybe, because I didn't want to say yes or no, but hey, there you go. We looked into it, science says it's there, so that's the opinion that I'm going to spread as well as that. If you want, I can put the link for it down in the description of this video so you guys can check out the full study. It's really, really interesting and cool. But that's all I really had to say about these guys. I've always wanted the legless lizard. I thought it was really cool. Number one, just because I like weird and oddball species in general. But number two, they make such an amazing ambassador animal, hopefully once they get a little bit more accustomed to handling and stuff. That makes really cool. You know, when I took this guy to an educational program the other day, the kids absolutely lost their minds. It was so cool. And actually one of them even knew what it was. Like a little 9-year-old girl knew what he was. It was really cool and really fun. I love to be able to spread and share that information. It was so much fun. But these guys are really fun. Oh, and I should make another note. I did touch on it that most of them are in fact wild caught. So a lot of them, they'll come in with a good amount of size on them because they're hard to find when they're really little. They'll just bury down under the ground. They will come in a little bit scarred up. So when they first come in, you do need to keep an eye on them for both internal and external parasites, as well as you need to monitor those scars and scratches and stuff to make sure that they aren't infected or have any other issues with that. So, you know, just being a responsible reptile pet owner. But with all that in mind, I do think they're a really cool species. They are diurnal and they're very active. So if you give them a really cool enclosure, you can see them out all day long, just kind of cruising and munching. You'll see them bask under their UVA and B lights as well as under the heat. Don't get them too hot. They're really cool species. I am so excited. Really excited that I have my pair. The female's actually in shed right now. And I'm very much looking forward to, because I think in this place, I'm going to have a much better like seasonal shift from summer to winter. And I'm hoping that once they get comfortable this year or maybe next year, come that winter cool down, maybe we'll get some legless lizard eggs. We'll see. I'd love to be able to add my name to that list of people who have successfully bred them, or at least shown some sort of mating, or, you know, we'll see what happens. Either way, really excited. I'm really happy that I got these guys. He's really cool. Thank you so much for mostly behaving for me today. It was so amazing, really cool. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please let me know down at the bottom of this video. Check out all my other Instagram. If you're interested in merch or any other cool stuff, email me at jzsreptiles@gmail.com. So jzsreptiles@gmail.com. This one should be coming out before our Loveland Reptile Expo at the Show Me Your Reptiles Expo. If anybody in Colorado or just wants to come out for a fun weekend road trip, I know gas is expensive, so I'm not going to force that on anybody. But if anybody wants to come out and see us, we'll be doing lots of reptile education shows. Won't have any animals for sale, but I will have a little bit of merch and some fun goodies and things, as well as just be really fun to just chat with some reptile people. It's still going to be a really fun weekend, and I greatly look forward to it. Hopefully I might see some people there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you're having a great day, and we will check you next time.